Got it.
Yeah, I probably still will though.
Well, it started.
I'm working on it. It's loading. All right. Hello, everybody. We are here for the season two Half-Shelled Heroes cast assessment, and we have some of our wonderful alumni here and a wonderful friend of ours who is willing to help us out with this. We have our season two silver medalist, Jacob Adorno. We have our player of the season, the OG Pink Power Ranger of the org community herself, Gigi Madam Butterfly. We have got Benji, one of the smartest low-key people in this entire community. And then there's me and Laura who are on prawn. So what I am about to do is I will be pulling up the slideshow of the cast. We will say some words about just how we think we're gonna do, how we think they're gonna do, what we think is gonna happen for those, and just to get y'all up to speed if you weren't able to pay attention to the Night Zero call, what the twist is this season. So and sticking with our Ninja Turtle theme, we're gonna go in alphabetical order, just whoever wants to say their piece, alphabetical order of the cast. To get y'all up to speed with the twist this season, Jacob and Gigi, unlike with y'all, there are little smaller scale on advantages. Mostly they've been broken up into four sectors, as we've called them. They are not teams, but the goal in each four-person group is to be the last surviving ninja in that group. Who, if you're the first person in that group to out the other three, then you'll receive a special power. And since y'all played season one, you probably know what that power is going to be. So the goal basically is to you could use as a built-in alliance, or you could tag them out first. Yes, Jacob.
Is
Want
this
me-
an homage to the last Ronin,
Yes,
perhaps?
it is
Oh,
called
that's good. That's so good. That's so.
it's called the Last Ronin twist. All right, and now I'm gonna screen share. So let me pull up these beautiful slides that took me not very long to make. And the first player we have up is Ali Gallo. Ali is most recent org experience was coming in second place in CTC. So anybody want to take us off with Ali?
Okay, you
Wait,
know what? Because I guess I will. I don't know Allie. You said she's rather green. The community, is that correct?
Somewhat. She's played a little bit. I don't think she's dived fully deep into things, but I know she did well in CTC, but
Okay.
I don't know fully her org experience. But
Certainly runner up or I forget if it was a two or a three for CTC for finale this season.
that season it
Um
was two.
okay, so like nothing to scoff at. This at least placement shows that she has some sort of prowess to be able to navigate long term to the end. That's definitely in Big Brother. That's a great trait to have, especially when things are slowed down a bit more compared to Survivor, where you get like Big Brother is definitely a long waited game when it comes to like the competitions and like talking to people, like really setting yourself apart and setting yourself up well. I get to do that. Um, I've never seen her play, but at least with what the and to kind of theorize. Um, if she's not played Big Brother, I hope she utilizes and figures out what works best for her to make it far. She sounds very promising, so I look forward to seeing what she's capable of.
I think what I loved in her interview, one of the first things she said to me when I asked, describe your playing style, she said, I'm not afraid to cuss a bitch out if they need to be. And that's the energy I'm hoping we get from here. But who knows? Because this cast does seem to have there's some big personalities in this group. So I want to see if she kind of stands out with that, or if she dials that back a little bit. Because, it's one thing in the interview to say that, but it's another thing when you really go when the shit hits the fan. Jacob,
When
your GG. Oh,
oh sorry.
no, you're good.
I was gonna say, well, I like a player that speaks their mind and tells it like it is. Sounds like a me. So, because I would do it in a heartbeat. um, so I want to see what she's capable of. I really do. I don't think I've played any games with her, so I have no idea what to expect. But I'm excited to see. I'm excited to expect the unexpected from her.
I've seen her around like a lot. Like I've never played with her myself, but I've seen her a lot. Kind of like when Lynn's first like came up on the scene in the Word community. It seemed like Allie was playing like every single game like you could possibly come across. I think she also recently played Bodo, where again I don't know the extent like of what was going on, but I'm pretty sure that they were rather inactive in that game and like perpetually were constantly self. I think due to personal circumstances, which absolutely I obviously for her to be in here, I'd assume those things were at least mostly resolved or taken care of. But what thing that kind of happens when you get those kinds of players who are that eager and that green and are playing every single kind of game, it's like they're one thing I've noticed with lots of those players is that they kind of come in like not really taking much from their past experiences and are trying to collect as many experiences as possible, not trying to like that's something that I keep seeing recurring in those kinds of players that are just so excited to start like a new game. It's like, all right, I'm gonna try it again. Maybe it'll work this time. So obviously, as someone who has not encountered her, personally, I'd hope that she's able to do this because there are games like I want to say that she's recently played maybe my timeline's wrong and I'm mixing up some certain people, but I know she's made it far in some games. I know that she's gotten not as far in that Traders game, not as far as the last Survivor game that I've seen her come into. So I hope that she's not experiencing orc burnout because usually, with how much I've been seeing her, it hits mid game where the thrill of playing is not there anymore. The novelty of like this being a brand new experience kind of wears off, that new car smell, and you kind of just like dread playing the game that you signed up for. It's like, oh, I don't want to fucking strategize. So let's see how well Ali endures like those elements. This game is not a race like your survivors or even like your Bodos. It's a marathon. You're gonna be here for a very long time. You just show the wherewithal to be able to stick it out. So I'm hoping Ali can demonstrate that.
Yeah, for me, Allie is a fresh face. I don't think I've seen her around. A lot of these people are new to me. Um, but she does seem very high energy, and I'm really excited to see what she does.
All right. I can say she was actually prior to the season starting, she was one of the more active people in her prod chat and like really hyped up to play the game. So I'm hoping we're able to see that bleed through. And if she has a mist or she has that evil side, I can dig that. So next we move on to from the president prod team, we have Bill. Uh, Never seen Bill play. Self-describes as the villain type and not afraid to backstab. So who wants to start us up on Bill?
I'll start because yeah, to a T. What you just said to a freaking T is him. Okay, he is one. At least in my experience, he even like sweet talked me, said everything good to me that I needed to hear to make sure we were good. But next thing I know, he flips on me and votes me out. So he can, yeah, he can be that villain. He can be that way, but he's also a phenomenal player. He still is awesome, phenomenal player. Like he has that social game. He has like the comp skill set, so he can go really really far. I just hope he doesn't burn too many people or gets too messy. That's the only thing I hope. But I can see him going far in this game.
Benji, I can't hear you. I don't know. Am I bugging? If Benji, you
No,
were
I can't.
talking, I could not hear
No, I can't hear Benji either.
I just said, Jacob, if you don't hurry up.
you. Okay, oh, fine, fine, fine. Okay, because I was like, I didn't know if you had anything to say about Bill. But yeah, I played with him before. I played with him in Power Grab, and Man will fake cry, man will sweet talk, man will say or do whatever the hell he has to kind of get a step up in the game. And that was a game that didn't have any competition. So, I didn't really see his physical prowess. I've played with him once after this point, and it was very short-lived. He was one of the first people that were banished. And I think that when you host as much as Bill has hosts. Obviously he's on President Prod. I think that's like their seventh or eighth season, may have just concluded not too long ago. You understand the inner workings of a game like Big Brother. Like you better understand the game as a result. It's a totally different experience hosting than playing. And I think you actually reap lots of benefits seeing other people deploy their strategies. It's like, okay, this thing worked, this thing worked. You could kind of see in real time who the nucleus of information is, how things get relayed, how things get leaked, and this kind of you take those hosting experience and use that to refine your own strategy. And I think that Bill demonstrated lots of excellent strategic acumen during Power Grab. The problem was, like Gigi was saying, was not afraid to backstab, was not afraid to kind of undercut people, use these under the belt strategies. And the issue that he ran into, I think, was win equity. I think he was going into potentially making it to the end game. Like he got fourth, I got fifth, he got fourth. And he had a huge mountain that he needed to climb with actually one of the players that actually are on this cat. So I don't know if they have an aversive relationship as a result of Power Grab or they've been able to reconcile. It seemed like they were friends going into it, so they're probably fine right now. But I think that he is somebody whom, if he is on the jury, he will be unbiased. He will look at the game simply strategically. He want to respect the game. I think he loves this game probably more than most, if not anybody else that I saw on this cast, because President is more or less a Big Brother game. But I think if he is there in the final two, there's a couple personalities which I'm like, I don't think they will reward his style of gameplay because I could see it happening, kind of like a me situation where people were thinking Bill had his hands in way too many cookie jars. He sent out way too many checks that he couldn't sign or like cash, whatever the hell the saying is, and lots of people will feel burned by him at the end. So, I mean, if that's the person I hand the villain crown to, then shit, the club is stacked. But I hope that he's able to smooth things over with people and he's learned from them.
Raise your hand if you heard Bill Nye the Science Guy theme song in your head as well when you heard this name. Okay, just so I'm not alone. Going off of what I'm hearing, okay, so we have some cunning ability, we have some cutthroat ability here. Um, all are great qualities. Never position himself really well, or he can get very. I feel like you kind of have to have a balance of both. Um, but with that again, I'm aware of the president. I am not aware of Bill's wherewithal to play. Again, so another new face to me. I see. But I'm also excited to see what my fellow panelists and prod are also talking about when it comes to his game, and watching that for the first time and being able to have my own opinion from that once I get to see what he does.
Yeah, so he's also a fresh face to me. But he was one of the people that was standing out to me in like the preseason phase. Um, and hearing his like that he's got that cutthroat ability, that he's got that villainy thing. I'm intrigued, to say the least.
I can't hear you, Mike.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, we'll get to you in a second. We'll get to you in a second. Hold
That
on.
was not who I thought was next alphabetically. That was
Hold on. Sorry, I was muted. Anybody in their interview who's gonna look at me and say I am going to win villain of the season, instantly it's getting a spot on the cast. Just for future reference to anybody out there. Because I want to see what he
But
brings.
he actually said that.
Yes, he did. And I write that in there. I'm like, all right, bet you gotta do it. So I'm excited to see what he brings to the table. And next, you know him, you love him, And if you've played Distortion, you probably got yelled at by him. It's Billy Vance. Billy
I've
can
never gotten
go.
yelled at by Billy Vance because I was good. Uh,
Yeah, I was good too.
right.
Okay, I wasn't. So, Billy, kind of a later addition to the cast, kind of a surprise that he was interested in playing, coming off a win in the collective. Who wants to start us off on Mr. Vance?
You know what? I think it's only right. Um, Billiam Vance Jr. No, I've known Billy for almost 2 years, being on Proud with Billy. From what I've experienced during our multiple sessions, because I played the collective with him, I've also played Kaleido with him. I've never got to experience him in a Big Brother setting. I feel like he's fully capable of the gambit, really. Like the world is his oyster. He knows how to strategically prepare. He knows what to be aware of. Um, with that being said, I think what I'm going to want to see, not that he hasn't been able to accomplish it before, but just a continued adaptability. Um, I know sometimes he could be a little set in what he likes to do, and with a game, with any game in general, it's always going to cause for like a constant pivot, 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 pivot. Again, he's fully capable of it and fully aware of doing so. It's just, um, you know, I especially with this twist as well, it very much sets to counteract and go against a certain number of people. So I think it's also going to challenge the house guests in a way of like, okay, when do I get rid of this person? Is this person good for my game overall? If so, it's gonna be a little bit of a waiting game in terms of how it really challenges how to position yourself. When do you position yourself for certain things? That way you can be benefited, and what fully benefits you depending on your game style as well. Um, I'm not going to be biased. I'm going to be looking at this from a fresh lens when I see Billy. But I have full faith that this man can go very, very, very far. Billy is lethal, and I think Billy is aware of that, which is great because then that means that he's going to have full confidence to just and just it's going to be good. I expect good things from Billy.
Okay. Anybody else on Mr. Vance?
I mean, I agree. I agree that I expect good things. I expect him to go far as well. I know how strategic he can be. And also I think his like social game ability is great too. So I really think he has that chance to really go real far in the game.
I actually have hosted him in the Big Brother setting. He played Hypnotic and he got sixth. He was a very underrated player, even by his own estimations. He thought he was a go. I don't, and obviously he got booed at a point where talks of who is going to hypothetically win a jury vote were just starting. So like Billy got cut off right before those discussions started happening. Like, oh, who's gonna make it there? Who's the biggest threat to win the game? Um, there's two things that I did find remarkable. One, I think he was very sound strategically. I've hosted him in other games as well before and since then. I've hosted him in Spellbound and Kaleidoscope, and he didn't have as long of stays. Because what's remarkable, and this has remained consistent in all my ventures in hosting Billy, is that his comp ability was ass. I don't think he has won a single challenge in all three games that I've hosted him in. And yet I see him in some other games be really good and holding his own in challenges. I think Billy is kind of one of those players that are very inconsistent physically. There are games where he's going to excel and be one of, if not the physical dominator in challenges. And I kind of looking at the cast to see whom I do know the physical capabilities of, and I don't see any people. I see a couple people that are kind of standing out to me like, oh, I could see them potentially winning out a couple Hypnotic alum. But Billy himself might be that, or he might end up kind of being in a situation kind of similar to Cam last season, where he's very well insulated, but not really winning all that many competitions. I think that Billy, my only concern for him is I think he debatably is one of the best connected people on here. I think he has lots of people whom he has hosted just from Distortion alone, and this is not accounting his own experiences playing with some people like within other formats. Like yes, he hosted Fred, but he just played with Fred in the collective not too long ago. That's a relationship that's sticking out to me as something that I think they'll immediately pick up and be good. But I saw something happen with Seb during Deception where a lot of people were cognizant and aware of the fact that he had these connections. And the people who did not know them as closely immediately kind of like wrote him off and was like, nah, don't want to work with him. He knows way too many people. And I could see a situation where lots of people loop Billy in with people he's not aligned to, and that kind of restricts and limits his options moving forward. I'll be very interested to see how he navigates that. Because do I think that's particularly the most likely thing to happen? No, but I do think that there's a chance that that might come up where a player is going to immediately think that because he's hosted as many people as he has and he knows as many people as he has, the shot should not be taken at his numbers. The shot should be taken at him straight up. So hopefully I'll see him go far because I love Billy.
And you know, Fred,
Oh no, Benji.
We lost Benji. No.
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 Well, while we wait for oh, there we go. Benji,
um,
we didn't catch that, Benj. Oh no.
I,
It's
so
like really inconsistent.
I was about to say, and you know what? Yes, he's played for Fred, but you know what he said to Fred? He said,
He did.
period. Like,
He did. Laura, anything to add about Billy
I
before we
will
move
switch
on to
over to
the
my phone though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Billy is somebody who, if I'm remembering right, I've actually have played. This was years back, a couple years at least. A Big Brother format game with him. And granted, his play style might have changed since then, but I remember him being a good player. So when I saw that he applied, I personally was really excited to see him because it's been a couple years since I've actually seen him. So, yeah.
All right. And that's it for Mr. Vance. And moving on, we have another Distortion alum, and I believe a former villain of the season in Distortion. We have Chris Drop the O Ocker here. One thing I know about Chris I know can fall into the game bodiness territory, but he is by his own admission, a incredibly smart player and hopes to be a little more social this time around. So who wants to start us up with
I'll
Christopher?
start.
Yes, Jacob.
Because there's I mentioned this like rivalry, ironically from his season, and he was also one of the top dogs during season 3 of Hypnotic. He was, like you said, game by. I've only played with him in Distortion All Stars, was very excited to play with him, and went on the what I dubbed the Spencer Bledsoe or the Raymond, whatever the hell it's called. Went through that transfer that journey where the first game he was kind of playing game body, kind of emotionless, and then he learned to like with connect with people and like use like emotions and stuff like that. That's essentially the journey he went on because I think that's something that he has made efforts to fix ever since he's played Distortion and Hypnotic specifically. That yes, he's great strategically, but it's kind of like socially where he's lacking when like he's not really building. He's building great strategic relationships, but not really good personal ones with people. And so I'm kind of interested to see how successful he's been in making that transformation. Because I don't recall, I think he did decently well. Like, I don't think he made like super far in his season of The President, but I want to say top half.
He got Jeremy. He
I was
made
about to say, like, I think he made like single digits. Like, it's possible. I don't think he made the end game, though. And that's kind of
he got ninth.
Oh, that's exactly the same placement he got during Hypnotic. He got sniped at ninth. I thought that that was somebody leader of his
I
alliance. I
know,
think
I
we could have.
helped.
Yeah, you yeah, Veggie was there. Oh my gosh, there's so many people from season throughout this cast. But point being, like, I am excited to see Chris play. I am. I could see a world. I could see two things happening with him. I could see him doing really well I could see him kind of making it to that end game. Maybe he's too big of a threat strategically for people to feel comfortable taking them to the end. But I could also see him just getting sniped first opportunity they get in the jury phase. Like very early on, like before the mid game, the end game starts to shape up. I think Chris is somebody people will want to take off of the board because clearly he's capable. And if giving him more time, like maybe he won't be the most well insulated or the most influential player, but people's concerns will be he will become that influential player. He will be a nuisance to get rid of later. So let's get rid of him now while it's easy so we don't have to worry about him later. I could see that happening with Chris, and I hope it does.
I have had the chance to host Chris on three different occasions, twice with Distortion. Um, sorry, I think it's only twice because I played with him in Hypnotic. I think it's very interesting his placements because yes, he's very capable. He's gotten I don't even remember what he got in Distortion, but I think it's rather interesting because he does have the wherewithal to go all the way. He does insulate himself decently well. I think it just comes down to his competition prowess because sometimes it's very hit or miss, and that's when things start getting a little turbulent. On top of people then considering, well, do we really take him to the end? He's good for us now. Will he be good for us later, or is it going to be too late? Um, let's see. Uh, I guess considering his averages, he's always gotten at least jury level. I have seen him in the game before. The one thing that I kind of ran into some difficulties with him as a player with him is getting him to talk even when you're not with him or with him in the room. Um, to where we got rivalry of the season from me basically just being like, okay, this man sent me a message twice. What does he want? Uh, um, but I think also, again, from my knowledge of him, his adaptability into certain situations, for example, this is because it's from Hypnotic. I offered a final two deal to work with him and to really flip things on his head. But he was comfy where he was and decided to decline. What do you mean?
No, I was just saying like no. He was like no.
Oh yeah, he was
That
like,
was him to you.
no.
Like no.
Um, so I think I would like to see him utilize everybody around him. And I think this kind of goes for everybody in the sense of like you should never turn away from things that could advantage you, even to, even if it depends on whether it's short or long term. You got to find where people fit in for you and not and really utilize that. So I'm expecting to see that. I would like to see some comp prowess on top of his strategic ability because he does have potential to get there. It just seems that people cut him to the chase before he could do the other way around.
Yeah. I don't believe I have any previous experience with Chris, but one little funny thing that I think about him is it caught my attention that he's got pizza in his cast photo. I have to
He
say it.
understood the assignment.
He
But
did, for
it's not
real.
Domino's though.
Hmm, that's true. It doesn't look like Domino's. I'm just messing around. No, I'm excited to see him play for real. He seems like an interesting character.
It's a good way to put it.
Yeah, he does seem interesting. I don't even remember playing with him in All Stars. So probably the distortion All Stars probably because I got out early. But just based on what everybody is saying, I'm excited to see what's gonna happen with him. I hope he can get with the right people so he can move far. Um, and then I guess try to be more aware of what's going on in the game and speak up and be around and be active and because you need that social gameplay, not just the comps in order to go far in the Big Brother game as well. So I'm
Hmm.
excited to see what's gonna happen.
All right. And moving on next, hold on. We have Danny. Danny recently played Deception, so Benji, would you like to start us off with Danny?
I sure can. Danny previously had just played Deception 11. She has the prowess and the wherewithal to get to the end. She's made it to a final two before. Um, I think where people are going to have, I think where people are going to have maybe I don't know if it's going to be an issue, but at least there's going to be a wall to her game, and that's just going to be the fact that in order to get to Danny, you really have to just get straight with it, cut the shit. She's not a small talker at all. She wants to get to the game, which I mean doesn't appeal to everybody. I'm not. I'm also not one of those like type of people to like. I do. Um, I do like the small pleasantries every now and again. And, it's not for everybody, but I think um game wise, strategically capable. I remember this girl for HOH, or sorry, this woman for HOH during her reign decided to do AI Taylor Swift related like nominee speeches. And it's never been done before. It's a first. It was very entertaining, so she's also very entertaining. Um, but yeah, I think strategically very sound. Competitively, she may have some trouble, but depending on how she connects herself and who she connects herself with, that might not be too bad, especially when in a game like Big Brother, you don't want to stand out too quickly, too fast, because then people start coming for your neck. So she may be able to have that ability to mitigate her threat level, and then really show out for the things that she feels she needs to go for.
So Danny, Danny is I posted her in a hypnotic, before Deception, like Benji made it said she made it to the final two in Distortion 11, Trials of Raw. I'm pretty sure. Um, she didn't do all that hot in Deception, nor did she
No,
do
she
all
was
that
second
great.
boot.
She
Or
was
no, she
third boot.
was third boot.
Yeah, because she won second HOH, and to which when you win an early HOH, it's very difficult. Like you have to like you have to go out of your way to play your play your cards poorly when you win an early game HOH because you could tell, like if you win the first HOH, because who was it? Like Ryu, I think during our season,
Yeah, it
he
was.
got to tell it
Yeah.
was 18 a cast of 18 people. He at best, because he didn't need to do arena, he told 15 people, "Hey, when I'm in power." You are good. You are safe. And
Mm-hmm.
that is a very advantageous position to be in. Some people, like me, my play style, doesn't want to win the first head of household. Danny's one of those people who is going to gun for it, and I think will reap a lot of benefits if she does win to power very early on. Builds a strong group. The problem is, and the issue that I keep seeing come up with her, is that she doesn't know how to talk to people that she's not with. If she's with you, oh, they're locked in final two. They're calling every day, they're talking every day, or however much she would
That
like
sounds
to.
like
'Cause
my
again,
problem.
she's that. But like, if you're not with Danny, she doesn't fuck with you. She will gun for you relentlessly until you get sent home, and it's only left with the people she does care about. So I could see an issue where maybe she might struggle with win equity as a result. Some people might feel really disconnected from her. I could see her kind of anywhere. I think she has lots of variance as a player. Clearly, we saw her make it to Final Two in Distortion. She makes it to the end game in Hypnotic, which funny thing you mentioned, Benji, because she always had like a gimmick with like every speech. It was like one day it was a poem, the next one it was a rap, the next one was like a parody of like Pink Pony Club or some shit that she did like when she was doing her eviction speech. It's like I love Danny. Obviously, she is a fun time, and I see lots of good strategic acumen from her. Like she's a psychology. I think she's a therapist. I want to say she's a psychiatrist. I'm pretty sure. So she's very intuitive. She's very analytical. She knows how to
Mhm.
assess a situation. And for she's never going to get targeted for saying too much. She's going to
Uh-uh.
be listening. She's going to be very observant. She's going to be very deliberate if she makes a move or tries to push a move to better advance her game. I hope that she doesn't slip into like inactivity and people because she doesn't
Yes,
like the small
uh-huh.
talk of it all. Like she kind of gets targeted early. I hope that she's able to get through that hurt.
I will say if she does win an HOH, I need like a Party in the USA AI nomination. Like, gotta put your hands up, play my songs, the butterflies nominate. Like, very that. Like, I need that in my life.
Yeah. She gives me a lot of vibes that are similar to my play style. Like, um, if I'm with you, I am with you. But if I'm not, I really don't talk that much. And I feel like just based on what Jacob said, I know like that can either help you or hurt you. Sometimes very much hurt you. So yeah, I guess we'll see where that goes.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to play with her in Deception. So yeah, she did not nom me or what have you like that, which I appreciate it, but we weren't fully together. I feel like I almost had to pull teeth to try to get her to talk to me more.
Mm.
So I'm hoping that she's able to not just like get like a core, like yeah, you gonna like get your core group, but still try to talk to everybody else too. Like don't just try to stick, don't just try to stick with your main people. Like you
Yep.
can, like, but still try to get with others because you just never know who's gonna win HOH and if they're going to end up nomming you or not, based on because a lot of times, especially in the beginning of the game, it's inactivity why people get nommed a lot. So I'm hoping she's able to speak up more. I'm hoping she's gonna be able to be around too. 'Cause I think that was part of the problem with Deception too. She wasn't around as much, so that kind of made it easier for her to be a target too. So I hope she's gonna be around more, also in this game to be able to play. But if she can do all that, I see her going far.
All right. And from Danny, we are moving on to Fred. Fred has been everywhere lately, and he has been playing everything. And now Fred is hoping to test his luck here at Paradox. So, who wants to start us off with Mr. Fred?
Didn't Fred get booted right after Danny's?
So he
My
started the
HOH,
curse in Deception that if you won HOH, the following round you went home. And so
my HOH
I gotta
too.
start.
It was my HOH.
Clock it.
Oh
The
Lord.
only experience I have of playing with Fred is we were on the same cast in Heatwave, and I wasn't there very long, and apparently neither was Fred, despite the fact that he lasted 6 more rounds than I did. So,
Yeah, quite literally both. Yeah, Fred and I were also on the same season as Mike Jones. I never met Fred whatsoever at all. I did not meet Fred up until he played Deception. Um, so I have seen Fred also play in the collective. That I think that's one of our connections here is Fred and Billy because they ended up making it to the final four together. Um, so I know what he's capable of when he's persistent. He can really like dig in his claws and get with it. Um, Fred for Deception, I think life just kind of got him in a sense. I know he had just I think he had just started a new position or something to where fourth boot, unfortunately, was the number that matched for him. But I understand where his abilities are. And if he really like starts like revving from the ground up, he's going to be a very difficult opponent. He's very comp savvy. He has the mental capacity to be very strategic. Like I would definitely say he's also a very sociable person, depending on like the people that he's around. Like I definitely think that he fits the bill with all of his like requirements that I've seen before. I think it's just gonna be now to where how does he fit the twist in the game to tailor what benefits him.
And hopefully this time around he will be here. He will be around. Hopefully like maybe like his job has gotten easier or he's been able to schedule have a decent schedule so he can be here cuz yeah, he's a definite overall great player. He's like Benji said, he's got all the aspects to make it to be a winner of the game. So, yeah, I hope he's going to be around because that was basically the big problem besides him nominating me, but that's a different story. That's something else. But I think he can go far if he's gonna be around.
Yeah. I think it's ironic that you guys are saying he's been all over the place because I have not met him before. I have no experience with him that I actually remember. So, yeah,
Damn.
I'm excited.
She said if I did play with you, you didn't leave an
You're
impression.
forgettable ass motherfucker. This
Yeah,
is
she said
crazy.
you forgettable.
This
Damn.
motherfucker. No,
Jacob.
I
so
forget a lot of people though, I feel like.
for real. But no, so Fred, here's the thing with Fred. I've hosted him a couple times. He played Hypnotic. Also similar thing. Wasn't really around all that much. But in Kaleidoscope, I finally got to see what Fred was capable of. I like his mass potential. Unfortunately, I wasn't the most active production member or spectator of the game during this most recent season. But from the little I did see, I was very impressed with what Fred was doing. And hell, even in the beginning of Deception, he was impressing me. Like he was starting to do a lot of good work at fostering that relationship with Kathy, who seemed to be like one of the more well insulated people at the beginning of the game. Building some integral bonds with people, starting to throw like Seb under the bus. Like this was a guy who I was being very impressed by, but then he just kind of vanished. And that's the main criticism I have for Fred's game, and the
He was
main
like the
concern I have
Avatar.
is that he will inevitably just disappear. Like without like a trace. Like even despite all the good work that he had done the first 2 weeks leading up to his HOH run, which I thought would even further solidify his position in the game, he floundered. And like that any chance of him surviving Gigi's HOH during Deception wouldn't have been due to any work he had successfully been able to do during that round. It had to have been the first 2 weeks. And when it's like the first 2 weeks you're basing off of why someone should stay around, like that's not enough. There's so much more game left to be played moving forward. So I think that in Fred, I need to see some consistency with his activity. And I understand, Big Brother, you don't need to be the fastest horse in the race. You just need to not be the slowest. And this could be a situation where, because the cast is so large, you kind of get rid of the inactive people, just kind of like pick them off, or like kind of like what we did. But Fred was one of those casualties of that similar philosophy and deception. So I hope he doesn't fall into the trap of like dying. That would be pretty cool.
This cast is only 16 people, Jacob. We learned our lesson from last season.
I didn't even notice.
We found the magic number. So, all right. So that's it for Fred. We will see if he can make the Rowe family proud here. And moving on, we've got Haley. Haley, think recently again another Deception alumni showed interest in playing this game. Who wants to start us off with Queen Haley?
I mean, I guess I will. Um, Haley was a very pleasant surprise in Deception. Very pleasant surprise. She maybe won one part of an HOH, and that's it. Um, with all respect to her, like she showed her prowess toward the end, her comp prowess. I will say she was very, very sociable. Like she knew how to be comfortable with people. She had a strategic wherewithal to be like, okay, where do I fit into all this? And like very underestimated. Um, I think that is one of her superpowers, like to quite literally go undetected, like a ninja. Ha, 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 ha. But no, like I've also seen her play in Distortion season 11, so there's another connection between like her and Danny. So I think she has potential. I would love to see her prowess increase because I've never gotten to see Haley from like a power position before. And that would be really, really refreshing to see what she's capable of in the midst of having to make a decision. Um, yeah, I think she will definitely slash probably be one of the more underestimated people, but we've also seen what happens when you underestimate her and people are like, oh, I can just take her to the end. She makes it to the end. She got applause the last case, regardless, depending on who sits with her, because she hasn't pissed anybody off. So, like, looking forward to see how she tackles this one.
It's a pleasant surprise for me too, because I expected her to curse more people out. That was the impression I was getting from like hearing stuff from like because I think
I
she
mean, we
also
had one
played.
house call.
Yeah, yeah, with Cake and like Diamond, all of them. Like, yeah, no, I'm shocked she
We
didn't do
did.
it more. Like, I'm shocked it kind of just like ended there, and she kind of like mellowed out for the rest of the season. So like, I remembered if, so please correct me because obviously you've played and Gigi, our for first female winner. She ate with that, by the way. But like maybe I would know more, like what her journey in deception, distortion was like because. I know she was in the minority, kind of a victim of like a pagonging, got like one of the last couple people to get picked off, but was a very adversarial figure, very argumentative. I could be wrong, Benji, if you could correct me.
Especially to her neighbor.
Yeah. Benji, you're muted if you're when
I'm sorry, what happened?
I was asking like oh like because like if I'm not wrong, like what was she like getting into like lots of like arguments and like altercations during distortion?
Quite
Like that
literally,
was
that house call was the only one. So, I
yeah.
mean, that after that, that was it. Like, I think that was the only big like blow up or discourse that really happened. And it happened in such a short time that it was
Yeah.
forgettable enough for people to be like, eh, okay, moving on. Like
It's
it
like
didn't
distortion,
really
it was the
matter.
same way.
Distortion, she got into a couple, I was on after show that season. She got into a couple arguments
Yeah,
with,
I think she also got into an argument, multiple arguments with Patrice. And I
I
think
mean,
if I'm remembering correctly, um, but again, I think I might have been like the only one. Maybe my recollection is not as great, but to my recollection, she didn't get into like a whole bunch of entanglements with a whole bunch of people. It was just kind of when like you like pick at someone and it's like okay, touch, 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 boom, and then like that happened. So I think it like very much was like a ticking time bomb, if you will, depending on what the situation was.
Got it. Because like obviously like she played a pretty chill, kind of under the radar, came at the especially at the back half. Like I don't remember when it was. I want to say it was like the triple where I was like, no one's looking at Haley right now. And you know, for a while I thought, oh, is she guaranteed final two right now? I mean she wasn't. She didn't make final two. But like I was genuinely like how the hell is Haley still here? Like no one's really even like considering her as like an option to go home. Like she'll might end up on the block due to her poor challenge performance, but she's not someone likely to go home here. So I do think that there was some merits to her game. Although she kind of was self-deprecating a lot of like apologizing to production for not giving the game as much. Which, like, to be fair, she was giving more than some people who were still in the game were giving up until that point. So, like, I think that I'm excited to see her. I thought after Deception, I don't know why I was expecting her to not really play all that much anymore. Like I mean, not to like retire from orgs per se, but the way that she seemed to have been super occupied and drained during Deception, I thought she was going to take a longer break than this, and maybe she got what she needed between then to now to be more able-bodied to play. But we'll see.
Hmm. I'm interested in learning more about Haley's game, seeing where she goes with it. I really don't know much about her either. Big shock, I know.
So yeah, I did get to play with her in Deception. I had really great talks with her and everything. So yeah, her social game was on point. Nobody was even going after her. They really weren't. Like she really showed up towards the end of the game. So Yeah, I think she can go undetected in this game too. I think if she kind of almost pretty much plays the same way she did Deception, yeah, she can be. She will literally surprise the cast, and they're not gonna know what to expect from her. So I'm excited to see how she plays.
And I think there's enough big personalities here that she might be able to do that pretty easily. I think there's going to be a lot of loud voices in this group. She might get by being like the more quieter one if she's able to do that. So, moving on to the next one, to our next hero, we have Juan and his abs. So, I've never really not seen Juan do well, and if he does get out, it's always some fuckery that goes into it. Like it just feels like he never goes home in a straight up like he's like Suri. Like if he's gonna get out, there's gonna be some fuckery attached to it. So who would like to start us off with Juan?
Now you're saying it out loud, and I'm like, damn, yeah, he usually doesn't just go home just straight up. Like I think like the games that I've hosted him and seen him around, I'm like, here's his track record. Gets taken out due to like an idle play and required a revote in TTC the first time. Some fuckery happened the second time we played TTC. He does not want to talk about it, guaranteed. Hypnotic, he got sniped right just as the end game was starting. He was like the main guy throughout Hypnotic. Like he was one of, if not the most trusted person on the board. He was doing excellent socially during that season, and just got sniped at seven. Kaleidoscope, he makes it to final two the first time, loses fire making. When he returns for Olympic Games, he wins Triumph. Like in any other game that there's some that just he's probably played more than that, and they're just not coming to me right now. But just every game I could think of.
Distortion, he gets voted out in the Big Brother
Oh
round.
shit, yeah. Oh, I forgot about how he
Yes.
played that. So like Juan is excellent socially. He's one of those
Hmm.
people that I'm like, if you put him on your drafts, just us removing the fact that he's a great player. I think he's a very well-rounded one, capable socially, capable strategically, capable physically. You put him on there because there's no way in hell he's going home. I think free jury. Like if he's at his 100%, like this is a guy who was my like joint winner pick between him and Benji during his season of Hypnotic. He met and even exceeded those expectations. Won pots there, was a contender for pots in each of his appearances in Kaleidoscope. I think that he is one of the front runners, but there's somebody. Well, there's Chris, who I had mentioned prior, who was kind of burned by Juan, and somebody else who was like a rival to him in Hypnotic. It was instrumental in taking him out, and Benji also played a part in that as well. So
I helped.
there was an interesting that's an interesting dynamic. I kind of want to see how that plays out. I think that's the only way maybe he can go out pre-jury. Like, and yeah, there's a couple people I think who played Deception season one that are on here, so like maybe he could get taken out due to that. But
Um,
again, I don't think it's going to be due to any
Oh,
errors
yeah.
he makes himself during this game. I think, and that's the thing that makes it tricky to assess him as a player. Because if we're just only taking Paradox half-shelled heroes and stuff that will take place in the confinements of this game into account, Juan is straight. Juan will be fine. Juan should be here in this end game. But if people like hark up on those things, then like maybe he
Hmm.
might find some danger.
I will agree that yes, 9 times out of 10, Juan will like soar and excel, not only socially but strategically. And normally, if Juan goes home, it's very much like Mary J. Blige Family Affair. Let's get it crunk up on it in this fuckery, and it just like I, there's nothing that I can't say about Juan that's not like gonna be positive. Like great socially, great strategically. Comps personally, I haven't been able to see that, but I know he's won like Survivor games, like Triumph. I know he knows how to like position himself to be
Yeah.
like, fuck the comp wins. I'll win when I need to. Then I will get to the end. Like quite literally had and just to speak on a social prowess as well, for Deception, he made final three. Had Juan touched that final two at all, Juan was winning hands down, no matter who he fucking took, or vice versa, whoever took him. Like that is phenomenal. Fucking nominal. Like I look forward to seeing Juan do well. I feel like the only reason Juan would get sniped in like the 11th hour is if some of our fellow potential last Ronin here decide to take him out before he can come to power. Some that we have mentioned I think previously, if I'm remembering all of my names correct, and some that we were going to be mentioning very shortly that are very aware of what Juan is capable of, and they can either utilize him or they can cut that at the legs if they feel like it's not going to be good for them. But like, I have high hopes for Juan. Full out.
Juan is actually somebody that I do know. I played Triumph with him. Um, and he did win Triumph. I remember
Yes.
him being really good socially, really good strategically, pretty decent physical player as well. I remember him being an all-around really good player. Um, I'm very excited to see what he can do in this game.
I love me some Juan. Juan is like one of those well-rounded players just to always watch for. I just want to see what like how the twist of this game is going to affect him, how he's able to adapt in this game. But he's got it. Like, oh, I love watching him. I can definitely see him winning this too. So we'll see. We'll see what he can do. We'll see how he can adapt. But yeah, I'm excited to see him play.
In the meantime, you can bounce a quarter off those abs, I swear. All right. And getting on to our next player, we have who I like to personally call Chaos Incarnate. We have Keaton. I have seen two different Keatons play games. There's the Keaton of I'm gonna lock in, I'm going to be the smartest person in the room, and I'm gonna run this entire thing front to back. And then there's Keaton of I'm just gonna pour gasoline, throw matches everywhere, and just see what happens and just not care. So depending on which Keaton shows up in this game, I think is gonna determine how it goes. But he's very coded of our season one winner. Nick Mana. I feel like those two are just cut from the same cloth. So
Chaos Claw. Um, so the way that you just said fire and matches, it reminded me of that meme of that little girl who's like watching the house be on fire and she just
yeah,
screams at the camera. Like that's very, very that. Like I definitely heard of like Keaton's very like chaotic play. He's played Deception season one. Again, I think just due to life. They played as hard as they could. They got sniped in a double to no fault of their own. I think had they really been able to lock in, I think I would have been able to see more of the Chaos Goblin out of Keaton, and I'm very ready to enjoy that. Um, I've been a fan, and I've told him this straight up of Keaton since watching him on Ascendance Live 2 and 3. Like I loved watching Keaton play. I love seeing that like unpredictability, but also at the same time adaptability. There's no way that you can ever say at one point that you know 100% what Keaton is doing all the time. Keaton accepts his options. Keaton will be it has that kind of like really rare ability to flip things in his favor, which not everyone can do. And like appeal to be able to appeal to the senses, to be able to be also likable within that and still have it benefit him. And on top of that, no one look at him. Like very, 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 very fun to watch. And I can't wait to see what chaos ensues in this house. It's gonna be like, okay, he's gonna bring out the sign and be like, hey, time to play. Like,
I hosted his win in Hypnotic, and I think honestly I just have to echo a lot of Benji what he was saying like about how adaptable of a player he is. Like I kind of like we talk about him being this chaos gremlin, right? Like when he wants to, or when he feels like that's the only way to navigate the game is just throwing shit at the wall and hoping it sticks. But like me and Mike played Kaleidoscope with him, and I think he played that game very rationally and very chill. I think he's capable of being on both sides of that coin. So yes, he can be chaotic. Absolutely, he can give us one hell of a show. But also, I think that when push comes to shove, and it's actually like he has to think like seriously about what practically makes the most sense. I think he is one of the best players at actually figuring out what the best move is, like optimally speaking. I think he's an excellent strategic player, very capable physically. He is, I want to say, the record holder of comp wins in Hypnotic with 10. Like he is if he is capable and has the right motivation, he can annihilate comps if he wants to win them. Will he probably want to win them? Probably not. But if he needs to, I know he's capable of winning those comps. So Keaton's somebody whom, if he's out of cash, you gotta look out for the guy because he knows what he's doing. And anytime people like, oh, Keaton, well, obviously Keaton's Keaton. Like you're just gonna take him out. Like lots of those people don't take that shot. This happens a lot. That did not happen during Hypnotic. People were openly saying, "Oh, Keaton's Keaton. We have to get rid of him eventually," but eventually never arrived. And next thing you know, they're casting the vote for him to win. Maybe Paradox season two as well. I'm not sure, but he's one of my contenders for sure.
Yeah, based on what you guys are saying, I am interested in which version of Keaton we are going to get. Um, I do know who he is. I have not seen him play that I remember. Um, there's a lot of games that I just don't pay attention to, so you know. But yeah, I've got this very specific memory of him when he was hosting me in my first on camera org where he just sat on a Zoom call with me. No, it was Skype at the time actually. He sat on a Skype call with me while I was trying to do a competition that took me forever. Yeah, Big Brother Disney. Took me forever and a day to do. But anyway, that's just really specific memory. I'm excited to see what Keaton's gonna do.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I played with him. And yeah, I seen more of the chilled side. I didn't know he had this chaotic side. So that's something I can't wait to see. Like I said, I can't wait to see what side is gonna pop out in this game. But yeah, I never got the chance to like to truly fully like work with him in games and stuff. I think I ended up going out earlier, what have you. But yeah, I'm intrigued and I'm excited to see what's gonna happen with him in this game.
All right. And if nothing else, those Kirby pants are phenomenal.
I was about to say, can we get into the outfit? There's a Kirby pants.
There's
He
a
has a
green
inflatable
jacket,
axe
the
and a
blue
red
headband.
samurai sword.
Yeah, it's no. Keaton needs to chasse away. Um, all right, and next
It's
we go.
sachet, and no, he is just fine.
Yes, and next we are going to the player on this cast who really made me feel like a full-fledged unk because he was born in 2005. We have Lorenzo. Don't know too much about Lorenzo before their interview, but soon as we talked to them during the process was just, you know what, I think they just have that potential to just break onto the scene here and just do some fun stuff. They said they've been playing for a little bit in this community, but I personally have never seen them around there. So who wants to take us up on Lorenzo?
Yeah. Lorenzo was one of my recruits. I had randomly pitched in a server that I'm in, a YouTuber friend of mine, that we were casting because there was like Big Brother stuff that was going on over there. So I'm like, hey, if anyone wants to play, go ahead. And he DM'd me and they DM'd me and was like, yeah, I'll play. So I sent the application their way. Um, Personally, I don't know that much about them, but I know they seemed very interested to play. I did like their intro video. I like their energy. So Yeah, I'm excited to see what they've got for us.
I don't know this human either. Again, I'm hearing they're very green to the community. One thing that I do know about the community, depending on the cast you're with, most people love to work with new people. Mm, as you start playing in the community, people are gonna start looking like recurring faces more than new faces more often. So when we do get a new face, right on that. Because not only do you want to make their first experience fun, they've never seen the people that are currently in there and how they play. They could use that to their advantage. To where I think Lorenzo, if he decides to work this angle, could be very insulated very quickly because no one knows. He won't know what to assume of them, but then likewise, they won't know what to assume of him. So therefore, he can kind of mold and formulate his game to his advantage the best way possible. Um, so that'll definitely test his social. As far as the others, I'm not sure. I'm just gonna leave it up in the air because normally with newer people, it's hard to gauge that first impression if there's nothing really before. So I'm going to leave it to interpretation to allow him to show me what this game is going to make of him as a player for his first time around.
I kind of want to go on like the flip side of the argument with like when because I do think that this is a very newbie friendly cast. Like lots of there's a good chunk of hosts here who want to give them like a fair shot and kind of run into lots of the same people. Like I don't think people will want to get rid of Lorenzo first chance just looking at the whole board. I do think that this cast, I'm kind of like looking at like people's ages and stuff like that. It's there some people close to Lorenzo's age, yes, but I think the majority of them skew to be a bit older. I think that there's a chance that maybe Lorenzo might struggle to connect with some of these people. I think there's a chance that for him to not have this much experience, he also might not be able to be taken seriously. Because I'm watching his video and like even not knowing who he is, you can kind of tell who's like newer to games and kind of greener to things. I could tell instantly. Like the second he started talking, I was like, up, he's newer to these things. You kind of could see,
Hmm.
like, you kind of could tell when someone's green and when someone's very new to this. So I think that while he could be in a position where, because people are receptive to working with him and giving him that shot, he could be someone whom can kind of be like this snake kind of slithering into all these small crevices everywhere. And while people are like, these big players are taking shots at one another, Lorenzo could be hiding back and kind of letting other people do those things. The problem is he might be doing too good at hiding. People might not see the inner workings of his game, really understand the game he's playing in the event that he's able to get to the end. Or he might just be someone who, while likable, might just get picked off because people might not fight for or prioritize him. That is my concern here. I think that these first couple rounds, I think will be very indicative of how he does in the long term. If he's doing pretty well, he finds himself in a couple alliances, makes a couple final two deals. I could see him getting super far. But if people are kind of talking about him being disposable, he's not long for this game. Because I do see someone early on being pinned as like the early pawn star, and Lorenzo might occupy that niche.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to think. Yeah, I've never played with them before, so I don't know what to expect, but he might be yeah, he may even end up being one of those underestimated players, and never know. So yeah, these I do agree. Like these first couple rounds are gonna really show and determine if he's gonna be one of the players gonna be here to play, or he might even be one of the earlier boots. So yeah, I don't know what to expect, but I'm willing. I'm intrigued to see what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think I'm most Lorenzo, along with a couple other people I've never seen play before, the most interesting to me. And we need new faces around here. We need to keep the newbies intact because none of us are getting any younger here. So, anywho, I'm speaking just for myself on this.
I don't know about
You,
you, but
you four are all beautiful. And speaking of beautiful, we have our next player, Miner, where again, I have not had the luxury of playing with Miner, but even just
Mhm.
even just in the interview process, Miner just comes off as just being able to talk to you like you are the most important person in the world to them in that particular moment, and just has that very, I don't know how to describe it, disarming persona to them. I don't know if I'm right on that one, but
Like being able to take the walls down and
well, yeah,
get
they're
you
like
off guard.
this is gonna sound mean, but I don't intend to. They're like one of the little gremlins where like they're like so adorable, but they'll kill you in like 5 seconds if you get the chance if they get the chance to.
Oh,
That
looks
makes
like a
sense, yeah.
looks like a what the hell is the meme? It's
Like
like
a
looks
it's
like a
like a
munchkin
labubu,
is
like
a
a labubu.
munchkin. Looks
Yeah,
like a munchkin can kill you. Looks like a kill you is whatever the fuck it is.
yeah,
Like
exactly. So
or
who
like a
wants
cinnamon roll or whatever the hell.
exactly? So who wants to take us off on Minor?
I'll go first. Again, another hypnotic winner. He's currently number one ranked of all time in hypnotic Big Brother history. He socially was just adored. Minor has this air of somebody who, like, even if you know the move is to take him out, you need this guy out. He is a menace in competitions. He is very like like very sneakily smart. Like when you have conversations with a Miner, he's like, "Oh, this guy's so sweet. Like he's so wholesome and whatnot." Like Miner's way smarter than he leads you to believe. But and this greatest asset, and I keep seeing this, and every time that I host him, it's people being like. They can't bring themselves to take out Miner. Like there's like I want to do it. I know I have to do it, but I just can't do it. I can't break Miner's heart. Like that's something that very often happened, at least what my experience is hosting him. Like he gets taken out at 4 and spellbound and fire making in a position where if he wins fire making, I think he wins the game. He's guaranteed to make final two, beats either option there, and then he wins hypnotic. I think that he is one of the contenders to win. I really have really no faults with Minor as a player. I think like maybe like I can I would like to see some more strategy from him. I'm like, okay, excellent socially, excellent physically, but will never be like the soul or the main orchestrator of a move. He will be the alliance E because people love him so much. So he'll be the one recruited and brought into alliances a lot. So Benji's raising his hand. He's probably going to argue with me. So
I will because I've seen the element that you're missing. Um, so in Deception, season one, we've gotten to see that with the competition wins that Minor was able to build upon. Minor won the round four HOH in season one and went after two direct people that ended up making the final four and winning the game because he was very perceptive. So he had nominated like wow, Adam and Sean. And at that time, those two were slowly on the rise, and Minor decided to say no. And like he's very Minor is very perceptive, and Minor is very much like an undercover chaos goblin. Like you don't see it, but then when you do see it, it's too late. And that's so much fun to watch. I remember specifically during Deception, there was a week where someone for those of you who do or do not know her, Miss Vanessa was like running like steamrolls around the game. And I guess someone had said something along the lines of like, I told you you should have put up Vanessa, and Minor went, I told you to do it. Like I told you you should have voted her out. What do you mean? Um, but no, I will also piggyback on Minor's wherewithal to be like the most loved person in the room. Like you don't want to cut Minor because you feel like it'll crush Minor. Meanwhile, Minor in the back going, like, I'm ready to go. Like it is what it is. Like in Deception they got cut at the triple eviction. And from what I've heard later on, that had it not been a triple, Minor would have been just fine. So like Minor insulating himself very well, correct me if I'm wrong. Did Minor win season one of the collective, or would they run around?
Runner
He
up.
was second both his season and coming back for
Right, and
TTC got second again.
yes, and that's a very incredible feat, especially with the prowess he possesses. Like again, one of those people that I feel like is an all-rounder. I think it purely just depends on how they adapt to whatever twist or whatever environment they're brought in. Because once they figure that out and they lock in, you stop them where you're done. Like I'm very happy to see Minor. I hope Minor goes very far. Again, I'm going to take off my bias and I'm going to look at this from a fresh lens and a fresh perspective. However, I do have a lot of stock and hope in Minor that I know that they can make it very, very far.
Yeah, I've definitely heard the name before. I've seen him around. Have I seen him play a game? I'm not sure. But you guys are giving me some um very promising yeah, attributes. So I am hoping to see him go far.
Yeah, I've played some with them in the past. It's been a long time though. It's been a minute. Um, and I think he was another I didn't necessarily see eye to eye with, but at the same time, I think it was one of those games I got out early. So I didn't get to see his prowess and how he is in the game for real. So I'm excited to see what happens here and see how far he can go.
All right, Minor. And next we are going to our MMA fighter of the season, Michaela, where Michaela, again, it comes from Hype Viver. This is her second game here. Only concern I have with her so far is she got called into work tonight, so I don't know if missing the first night might be an issue for her. But
Hmm.
um, best action shot in the intro video, if I must say so myself, her taking someone down into a chokehold. We love a kick-ass player. So how do we think Michaela is going to put this game in a chokehold?
I'm going to counter your argument in the fact that day zero is important. Day zero doesn't make the entire game. I feel like everyone's like fumbling around, kind of figuring everything out together to where there's some camaraderie there before you start building your blocks. I feel like the only reason anything hops off in day zero is if you do happen to already have some sort of like bond or history and you decide to act on that. So I think her getting called in the work won't be as big of a deal as long as she doesn't allow the people to capitalize on it. And with her coming from like an MMA background, also to transition into that, I have also studied Taekwondo and bits of MMA and the martial arts for a good portion of my young childhood. I know what dedication that takes. I know what commitment that takes. And to apply those, wow, where did my mouth go? To apply those kind of work ethics into a game like that with being resilient, being determined, um, is definitely great skills to have. It means that she's not going to go down easily. There's already a physical prowess within her to be malleable to these more physical comps. Like we may see that she does well in an endurance comp. Like I can see her in that setting already with those kind of determined skills. With them also being new and considering this is her second game overall, I'm interested to see how she tackles again a more slower game compared to like a survivor style game where things are quick pace at all times. There are now more chances for her to save herself if she gets into some sort of sticky situation. I'm intrigued to see how she is received socially and how she relies on that. Do we know where she placed high fiver wise?
I don't
She was
remember.
first boot.
She was, I believe she
Okay.
was first boot, but also too, she has played LRGs too, though.
Okay.
So I believe she comes from the LA. I know she played. I don't remember what the game is called, but she played with Scott. Old
Okay.
old man Scott. Love you, Scott, if you're watching this. But
Oh, I love Scott. Scott, if you're watching this at any point in time, love you. I will eventually apply for Real Foot when life doesn't get crazy. Um, but no, I segue to that. I played with Scott in Big Brother Hogwarts. Love that person to death. Um, but again, back to Michaela. Now knowing that she plays LRGs, I feel like okay, that sweetens up the pot a little bit. She's a newbie in the org community, but she's not necessarily a newbie to strategy or a newbie to being able to perceive things and play a game. I guess again, with this being a slower, more dragged out environment, you have to be a little more patient. So I'm looking forward to see how she utilizes that and maybe she forms a very special part of her strategy in some way, shape, or form, no matter what section it's in, that really becomes unique to the Michaela gameplay to really see her like shine. Like if anything for any of people that are new to me, I they're not underdogs to me, but I definitely want to see them thrive as if we are watching an underdog story. They don't have to be like down, down, down all the time, but I want to see that kind of arc to where it's like, okay, I see you. You did the damn thing. So,
anybody else?
Yep. Mick was somebody that did catch my attention. Like Mike already mentioned, her action shot was
Top tier.
something. Yeah, it was awesome. I loved it. Um, I did remember that it was one of her newer, one of her first times playing an org, so like she is newer to that. Um, so I'm interested in seeing how well she is received by everybody. Um, I also want to comment on the Night Zero thing. It seems like it is important in some aspects, but really, like for me personally, from my experience, um, there's always that time, like in the beginning, especially since this is Big Brother, you have more time to go in and talk to people. Like it's not just, oh, there's a challenge and then there's tribal and you're like voting someone out on like the second or third day. You actually have more time to get to know the person. So I don't feel like not being here would impact her as much because it is Big Brother.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I done missed quite a few night zero calls myself in games at times to the point that I could still bounce back and get real far. So yeah, I wouldn't count that against her either for real. Um, yes, I have not seen her play, but the fact that, as you all said, that she had played some LRGs, yeah, I still think she would be able to maneuver in this game. I do hope that like she's able to, when she's available to come, get on into the game, she's able to like start talking to people, start getting some connections going to help her move further into the game. But yeah, I wouldn't count her out yet. So actually I wouldn't want to count her out at all. She looks like she's ready to play. So I'm excited to see what's gonna happen.
I I watched her little thing and I'm like, because I find it hilarious because Kathy was first boot in Hip Viver and I was like, oh, why did you get first boot though? Like that's my first thought. Like that's like such like a because there's newbies who come in here and you have absolutely nothing to go off of. Like you just kind of have to like just like go off and just gut instincts. It's like, will these people be open enough to playing with them that like they will have a chance and make it go far. And I see it a lot in Hypnotic where like newbies are given a lot of grace and they end up making at least one of the end gamers and become one of the contenders to take home the whole thing. And this could
Shout
very much
out
be
to
a situation.
Issa.
Shout out to Issa. Like each season it kept like this came like a thing, like with like Joanne and then Kate and like Issa, like all those people. But like the thing with Mick that I'm like, it's almost like worse like she does, in spite of having experience, they were very short stays. Because I'm pretty sure she said also in her interview she didn't make it all those far in those LRGs. So something, of course, had to have occurred for you to not only be early boots in those LRGs, but also be voted off at the first opportunity. Granted, there could be just like many outstanding situations. It could be something similar to like what might happen right now, just in inopportune, like calling in like a shift, like someone asking you to cover them. That's totally fine. I don't think night zeros are what's the word I'm looking for? Impossible to rebound from if you're not able to attend. Like, I mean, like Staten. We were talking about Staten and Deception as somebody who had like no shot because he was just nowhere to be seen, and yet he made final twos. Like that, I don't think this is a death sentence for her. But I'm thinking this is a pretty newbie friendly cast. I would be shocked to see if she gets first boot early on, like again, first boot again here. But these first couple rounds, I'd say like keep a close eye to see what might come up as like, oh, that's why she got first boot. I think we'll find that out very soon.
I think the point I guess I can make off of that is like we know it might not necessarily be a big deal not being here tonight, but does she know that it's not necessarily a big deal? Because what I would hate to see is for her to be like, well, shit, I wasn't here on the first night, so I don't know if I can recover from that. And she doesn't really see that it is possible to recover from that, and she gets
That
discouraged.
that is a good point because mindset is a lot of like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So hopefully she can Fujiwara armbar this discouraging night and make this game tap out. So speaking of tapping out, I had nothing. We go on to, as we're getting in the home stretch here, only a few people left. We have Morgs.
Okay, I get to go first. I don't care.
I get
Um,
Little doll on
for
doll
those of
mic.
you that are here on the room, Morgan is my good sister. It's my good Judy. I love her so much. Um, she did win Hypnotic in our season, and very well earned. Like Morgan knows how to not craft information, but Morgan knows how to siphon the correct amount of information and displace it in certain times. Morgan has compability. Morgan doesn't always need to show it and understands where to show it, especially in a Big Brother setting. In Hypnotic, I feel like a very big vehicle to their game was being linked to both sides, but then like being close enough to a competition and then bowing out, knowing that if they won a competition, their sides would be shown. They would have to reveal things. So like time and um they understand when things are more critical to do things, and like very much understanding positioning and self-awareness I think is a very big trait that benefits my sister so well. Um so I have no doubt in Morgan's ability. Uh, I know this cast is like very stacked as well. So I'm rooting for her again. I have to unlock remove the bias, remove it. But I feel like all of my biases so far have been very founded, and this one's no exception. Because Morgan's a very powerful player, and in working with Morgan, Morgan knows how to bounce off people well enough to where like they're not completely married to one idea the entire time if things start to like mold and shape a certain way. Their adaptability has been very, very good. And we had once said, when we had played Distortion for a very short time, I started giggling because the entire time we were like, oh my God, we work so well together if we actually talk to each other, and then never talk to each other. I voted Morgan out. To then come to Hypnotic. And we like slayed the latter half of the competition together, which was so nice. Um, so yeah, Morgan is definitely lethal, one to watch out for, but also not going to be the one to sit in like the public driver's seat. They're gonna let someone else do that and like, run over the speed bumps, the traffic cones, the stop signs, the yield signs, the other yield sign. And then be able to just be like, okay, like, and at the end of the day, Morgan also owns their shit 100%. They're not afraid to like say what was said. They're not afraid to stand down on exactly what happened. And if it happened and it's not doing the do, then okay, whatever. Like they're gonna get it done. Um, so yeah, very, very excited to see Morgan play Paradox all in all. I'm sorry, Morgs.
I think I know why they go by Morgs. I think this is a Spellbound's fault. For context, we did like a dungeon crawler thing, and if I don't know all the semantics of this, but Tawny essentially, because we've hosted someone named Morgan before, um, said in the cast graphic that Morgan was Morgan too, which Morgan was not happy when they saw this, and Tawny thought it was hilarious.
Understandable.
I would be pissed
Very
too, and I told
understandable.
Tawny, change it before the season starts, please. It's like, but it's funny. That's how they do it. No one gives a fuck if that's how they do it in fucking Dungeon Crawler Carl. No one gives a shit. I'd be pissed if I went the whole game be called Morgan too, and there wasn't even a second Morgan there. Like that's foul. So if that's the case, I think that'd be hilarious. If that's why they go by Morg
It
too.
it's giving if Thing One and Thing Two were present, but then Thing One went on a vacation and like
It'd be one thing if y'all are a pair, but like those two
right,
Morgans have no relationship with each other, so that totally works.
right.
So, but Morg's, of course, another hypnotic winner. My gosh, it's like you went out of your way to cast them all or something.
Dude, it just happened. I swear.
I,
It just
I
It
know
happened.
literally
it's
just happened.
4 out of 5 is insane, but like Morgs was a player whom was very well liked at the beginning, but wasn't in the most powerful position in the game. Was aligned with lots of people who started to getting taken out very early, and I think that's like kind of why I see Morgan's trajectory being in most games. Well, at the beginning, they're liked enough, like they're not like this aversive presence in the house, but give them some time. Let them build those relationships. They because Morg's a slow burner. Then that fire that the Morgan has. It is impossible to put out. It is very hard to do so, and that's exactly what happened. I saw Morgan ascend from being at the bottom to being able to play the middle with Benji, and then being able to rise up to the top. And that seemed to be what they were on track to do in Spellbound as well. But they got sniped due to one of the most. It took a very overpowered advantage to take Morgan out of the game, and even then, it went to a revote. So Morgan obviously is a very savvy, strategic player. I just saw them get to third in power grab, so clearly they still are capable of making it to an end game. We saw them make it all the way to the end in Distortion All Stars. I could see an issue with jury management coming Morgan's way. I know we mentioned it with Bill. I kind of want to bring that back with Morgan because there's times where Morgan says things and the intention is just to be blunt. Because what's the point in lying at like final 7 or final 6? But the way they went about it, and I saw a lot of all-star jurors criticizing this of Morgan. Me knowing who they are knows that that's not their intention at all, and I don't see it that way. But they could come off a little cocky, a little arrogant, a little condescending, if you will. And I could see a situation where they make it to the end game and they have a very hard time winning some jurors over with the way that they conduct themselves. So I don't know exactly how what their winning prospects were in Power Grab. And clearly, like this lost them a couple jury votes in Hypnotic. That's not enough to change the results of what happened. But I do see that being something that Morgan needs to like work on. Just like managing the jury.
I will say that at this point, with I guess with the way that Morgan does play and the way that they're able to like finagle themselves out as well, you're gonna have to take a lottery pick on like what if and or when things happen. You're like, okay, Morgan's gonna go out on a Tuesday if it rains on the third day in January, if you get a pot of gold right here on the left side. Like very like it's gonna take mountains to get rid. And I feel like a certain section of people also fit this bill, but quite literally with the luck that and fortitude that Morgan does have, it does take moving a whole ass mountain to be able to get rid of them, and that's just like how potent they are as well. I just wanted to add that.
Yeah. I played the collective with Morgs earlier this year.
With Morgs.
Um, yep, I had a good experience with them. Um, I don't really remember a whole lot about their
Mhm.
gameplay, but I am excited to see them play for real, especially with what you guys have been saying as well. So,
Love me
Although,
some Morgs. Love me some Morgs. Yes, I've always have a good time watching Morgs play and play with them. So I agree with what you all are saying. So yeah, I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm excited to see what's gonna happen.
yep, for sure.
Right. And as we are just about done here, and I apologize, dude, I have to do this. We have Rico Suave.
From
Uh,
Barbados.
from Barbados.
Barbados.
I met Rico playing Roberto's birthday mini, or no, not birthday mini, 4th of July mini. Me was shamelessly shilling this game, and all it took was Rico to slightly raise an eyebrow for me to be like, I'm recruiting him next season. He won the mini, and then I slid into the DMs about 3 weeks later when we started playing this, asked if he was interested. He said yes, and now here he is. Rico, and even just it was only a mini, but even just in there, just we immediately hit it off. Like I loved this dude right off the bat. Just had that very chill vibe. And no, sometimes minis can get a little heated, but Rico just was kind of like the calm one throughout the entire thing. And so, who wants to take us off with Rico?
I can, because mine's just short for a change. I didn't get much from the intro video, so like that does alleviate some of those concerns because I was like hasn't played in 6 months, any orgs. I have not encountered him, so I don't know if he's like brand new to games and like it's just very green generally, or like
No,
clearly he's
he's been around for a little bit.
he's been in the scene for a minute. So I do think that. So someone with the what can be perceived, like obviously he's not a newbie, but can be treated as such because he's not familiar to this corner of the community. He said that Discord was very alien to him. So he can he's that kind of player who can reap lots of the benefits of not being in this corner of the community, therefore not being well connected, therefore being in an alluring person for orgers who run into the same people over and over and over again, and very refreshing for people, but without any of the concerns of like a newbie of like having to like pick up the strategy and him already knowing for the most part what he needs to do. I think that's a lethal combination. Somebody who knows what they're doing to an extent, but people don't know to how far that extent is. I am interested to see him play, but yeah, he has potential to be dangerous.
Yeah, I guess my turn. Oh wait, no, you gotta go. You can go first. I'm fine.
I didn't have much to say. I seen him play a lot of like minis, not so much long term games. So, um, yeah, I don't even know if I even had. I don't even think I've had a chance to play with him. So I really don't know what to expect. But the fact that he's already got a win under his belt with the mini, it seems like he may get the gist of what's going on in these games. So, let's see what this, what the twist of this game and how, and whatever else happens in this game, how he's going to adapt, and see if he can make it far in this game. So yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
Go ahead and skip me for this one. I need to answer something real quick.
Yeah. Um, Rico, I have not seen him before. Um, I guess he is a bit newer. I don't know fully, but I am excited to see him play, see how he's going to be received. Um, yeah. I was looking at his time zone. I just looked it up to make sure that like it's not near as bad as I thought it was. It's AST, so it's only an hour ahead of EST. I thought it was worse than that. just glancing at it. I was gonna make a comment about his time zone, but no, honestly, I'm interested to see him play.
All right. Benji going once, going twice. All right, just for brevity's sake, we're gonna move on to our penultimate. I think that's what that word means, second to
Yeah,
last.
second to last. Yeah.
Thank you. We have OMG guys. It's Sanam. Sanam is another hypnotic winner. I swear to God, this was not on purpose. Um, so this is Paradox Season 2 Half-Shelled Heroes / Hypnotic Winners at War. Um, Sanam, pretty well known in this corner of the community. Who wants to talk about our bestie Sanam?
I
Uh,
am very excited to see Sanam play. I met Sanam in the collective, um, playing with her. I love her energy. She's just an all-around amazing person. I was in her prod chat during Hypnotic. Um, she was really amazing to see play there, and I cannot wait to see what she's gonna do here.
I was not expecting this season to be half-shelled hypnotic winners. I forgot how many of them were in the app pool. But no, Sunaya was someone I was really excited to see how well I was excited seeing her go as far as she did, and then ultimately going on to win. She was the underdog going into that final
Yeah,
finale, and she can't. I don't. Is there like a little bit of recency bias in there? Maybe there's a little bit, but I've hosted at least,
maybe.
but I've hosted other games since then. So I want to say this with confidence. I genuinely think that was the best jury questioning I've ever hosted. Like just how articulate she was, like how clearly
Yeah.
intentional.
She kicked butt.
Every She kicked ass. That wasn't a phenomenal speech, and she actually had some competition. This wasn't a situation where like she won 7-2 because her opponent sucked at answering the questions. No, he said gave her a run for her money, and she still came out on top. I was very impressed. Um, there's lots of concerns I had with her as a player beforehand, going into Hypnotic, and I think Hypnotic alleviated a lot of those concerns of her not really exercising all of her options, her not being the best at hiding who she messes with and who she doesn't, and kind of as a result turning down opportunities and closing doors when she shouldn't be doing. But then I saw in Kaleidoscope Olympic Games and in Hypnotic, she was very open to playing with just about anybody and was really fluid and was overtly so. And I saw her revert to a lot of those same bad habits in Spellbound, where she was very clearly with her team, and like swaps, I do think played a factor, where you kind of forced her to kind of play that way. Um, so in Big Brother, I mean, clearly she knows what the fuck she's doing. She's coming in here, I think will excel socially. I can see a situation where she might get too eager, maybe a little too trigger happy, maybe makes a move a little too soon and exponentially enlarges her target, kind of similar to what she did in Olympic Games, taking out Karen. I could see that very much being the case here. I think she needs somebody to ground her. I think because she's a very loyal player, very loyal to a fault. She will jump off of a bridge if her final two tells her to do it. She will ask how high it is and not why are you asking me to jump off this bridge, you fucking weirdo. And I could see a situation where she might be taken advantage of if she picks the wrong final two. But I see if she picks the right person, someone who kind of can talk her down out of making suboptimal moves strategically, and can kind of she could bounce ideas off of and generally get along with. I think she can be dangerous. She could be lethal.
I have heard nothing but good about Sanam. I have been trying to get Sanam into my app pool for my games for what feels like eons now. Um, Coming from her Hypnotic Wing, which I think is her most recent game, no? Can someone correct me if I'm
Spellbound,
wrong?
Spellbound.
Well, yeah.
Spellbound, okay.
She got
But
taken out
not
with an arrow in her
like
pocket.
T oh. Okay. So like again, hearing everything, we know she has the capability to win. That definitely is a positive, but what I'm hearing, if this is going to be a consistent case, need and want her to stick to a fault part, not to the if you say jump, you say how high, I'm gonna give you the wings like Icarus, and then you go "Phoom." Like, no, I don't want to see that for her. I want her to really like, I guess, be a little selfish. Yeah, like loyalty truly means to a fault. That fault is if you go home and you don't want to go home. So, but no, I've just to reinforce things. She is definitely. I'm fortified in the fact that she is capable to make it far, but I think again that loyalty to a fault component is probably going to be like her biggest internal challenge. Because I don't know how she is physically, but obviously strategic and socially, just from placements, I can kind of get a little bit of like an inkling into what she's able to do, especially knowing how to speak when that becomes more pertinent as you get closer to the end on why exactly you should win. And she focuses in on those key points of her game. So she also has a bit of self-awareness there as well. So again, looking forward to seeing her.
Uh, Gigi, or is that everybody?
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I
Uh,
was muted for a little bit anyway, so I was just keeping track of who. I wasn't keeping track.
so I played what's the name? I think one time, I think it was CTC. I think it's what I played with her. Um, and she found her core group, so we didn't really get to like work together like that. Um, and I feel like I was the one left out and actually got out early due to that, partially. But um I know how like the kind of player she can be and she is, and I know she can go for real far. And I've seen her open up more in games and actually give like not just a certain amount of people a chance. She's giving all other people a chance. So yeah, I'm excited to see what's gonna happen with her in this game. I think she can really make it real far because she is a well-rounded great player. So yeah, I'm excited to see how she adapts in this game.
All right, and last but not least, we have Shayna. Shayna was a very last second app here that we were not expecting to get, but once she applied, we figured she was a shoe in here for the cast. And recently, last I saw her play, she won 1984 Royal Quest. So we know she is capable of winning. The vibe I get from her personally is she is gonna be in this one for the long haul. I think she just has that confidence to her and that attitude of I'm good at stuff and people will fall in line with what I say. Unless that gets clocked early and she's seen as the big threat, I think she's either going to be sitting in the final two winning this game, or she is going to be the last juror robbed goddess of the season. But I think she is poised to show the fuck out this season.
I will say this because I have. Oh, sorry, GT, you were about to unmute. So you say your thing first.
So she sounds like a me player. She sounds like she, s- she sounds like a me. So I'm really excited to see what she can do. Um, but yeah, she even like just her picture alone, she looks fierce and ready to play, and will give it her all. And I feel she'd be a one that would play with her heart too, like play with all her heart too. Like yeah, I can see her. Yeah, I definitely see her win this game, or I'm just gonna say she it seems like she's another me. So she might end up being a player of the season too. We'll see. But I'm really excited for her.
She was another one. She was another one too in her interview. She said, "I'm gonna be the villain of the season." So we have for a season called Heroes, we have a lot of people aspiring to be the villain.
I um I will say this because I do need to hop off right after this. Um Again, thank you guys. Thank you for inviting me to do this.
Fucking thank
Um
you.
so, so Shayna was the person I was referencing earlier when I was like I played with Bill before and there's someone else on this cast. That might be like a relationship right there. She was taken out at the beginning of phase two, just being like this big, like this prolific player, this big this is contender throughout her entire tenure. And I think she comes back for All Stars, comes back one more time, and consistently was able to make it to phase two, which I think is very impressive. As one of the people actually that gave a fuck about me. That was nice. She actually gave me a chance. Um, so I think that kind of similar to what I was mentioning with like Rico earlier, it's like the player who is that really in this corner of the community a lot. So there's this lure of her that's like, oh, people don't know her. Let me gravitate towards her. Let me give her a shot. Let me see what this Shayna character is all about. But then actually knows what she's doing and knows what she's capable of. I was really excited and shocked when you said Shayna was here because I've been trying to get Shayna to play any of my projects, and Lord knows I have lots of options and candidates for her to choose from, and she hasn't been able to do it. So I'm really excited to see her play this game. It's someone who I want to root for, not just because I think they're capable, but I'm like, I just want to see her just fuck some shit up. I just want to see her just wreak some havoc, and like, because I know she's credible socially. She's very cutthroat and strategically, and I don't really know what she's capable of physically. She doesn't give me the impression of somebody who could like can't beast it out, and that might be her downfall in this game if she aligns herself with too capable of competitors physically. I don't think she's going anywhere these first few weeks. I think people are going to regret it. It's weird because there's so many times in these games where before like going into a cast assessment, I'm like, if like knowing what I know, she should be gone yesterday. Like this is going to be a problem. It's the what I call the Wendell Holland effect. Because when I was watching Ghost Island and watching on stuff preseason, I'm like, oh, certainly you're not going to let this guy win, right? Like he's so clearly capable. He's so clearly the most well-rounded and like strong player there. Certainly he won't win, and then he goes on to win. I find myself finding and pinpointing the Wendell of the cast, and Shane, I feel like is that person here where like you shouldn't let her get by, but I feel like they will. So yeah, I'm super excited to see her play, but I'm excited to see how the game plays out just in general. I think we have lots of very fun personalities, lots of people who kind of want to stir up the pot, stir up some chaos, like you said, lots of people vying to for my as the reigning villain of the season. I think people will be more intentionally villainous. I don't think I'll be the most villainous villain for a while. But excited to see how this season plays out. But love you.
Jacob, thank you for joining us. And
No,
anyone
thank
else
you.
want to wrap us up on Shayna?
Sure. Shayna is one of those people that I've also heard great things about. I've never gotten to play or see her in an app pool. I would love for that opportunity to happen whenever you watch the Shayna. Um, I think even live from her, I feel that calming, confident presence. I feel like she understands the assignment. She knows what she's coming in to come in. And Shayna in the same sentence. I haven't been able to see her play. I look forward to. I know she's made it pretty far in quite a few things. I think, if I remember correctly, she's played the president previously. And she got really, really far there. So that's the one game I've been able to like track. But no, this is someone I that is still relatively new to me. I can't wait to see how they play, and with all the rumblings and the rustlings of how well she plays, I think that we as viewers, we as a or the as well, and everyone involved is in for a treat. Like no one here, in my opinion, if we're going to look now switching over to the overall cast, we have a lot of heavy hitters. I feel like everyone is capable of something. It's now going to matter on who strikes first, who turns what tide when. And I think that's going to be the most exciting thing about this season, that there's so many layers for them to like breathe in and take into this experience, that it's not going to be like, oh, I understand what they can bring and it's predictable. It's going to be like a knockout, drag out fight to see who gets to the end, and I can't wait to see how it all turns out.
And Laura, take us home. You're muted. You're muted, Laura.
Sorry about that.
You're good.
Um, Shane is not someone that I'm very familiar with at all. Um, I I did look to see like what servers I do share with her. I am in a couple of servers with her. Um, but I have not actually watched her play. I am interested to watch her play this season for sure. And yeah, she was a really last minute application and it's like, "Oh, yeah, let's do it." So, yeah.
And I think one thing that we're most happy about on the prod team is that we do have a, like last season, we once again have a very kick-ass group of female non-binary players. We don't just have a bunch of dudes duding here, and we're
Yes,
hoping
absolutely.
this group is going to show the fuck out and carry the torch that season one very nicely lit and see what this group brings to the table. Jacob, even though you left, thank you so much. Gigi, see who will be joining you in the POTS circle. And Benji, we look forward to seeing you dominate season 3 or 4 or 5 or whenever we can do this. But Laura, I think we got our work cut out for us here,
Yeah.
navigating this group through this game. And thank you guys so much. And I'm going to bed.